Today, we are joined by two amazing guests, Jose and Yelcin, who will be sharing their journey to college and their experiences as a first generation immigrant student. Jose and Yelcin, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourselves.
Thank you so much, Santi. For me, it's an honor to be here. My name is Jose Gavidia. I'm a junior at UC Davis, studying computer science and engineering. It's a huge pleasure for me to be here. So,
Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having us over. My name is Yelcin Cifuentes. I am also a third year, like Jose. I go to UC Davis, and I'm majoring in electrical engineering. And yeah, thank you for having us over again.
Thank you both for being here. So before we start the show, we like to go over a little icebreaker question just to not just dive into the questions right away. So my icebreaker for today is, how have you guys been feeling with the weather lately? Because I feel like it's been changing. Like today it's been really hot.
well, I was in Davis last week, and it's been crazy because one day is sunny and hot, and the next day is just cold and wet. But I feel like I prefer sunny days. Are more enjoyable for me, especially because I am from a place where it's hot all the time. So.
Yeah, I think that's just a normal thing here in California, right? It's sunny and then it's windy, but yeah, I mean it's whatever, I mean, for Davis, when we're at Davis, we kind of have to walk to school, and it's a lot of walking. So we
really?
prefer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We prefer the sunny and not the windy weather. Yeah.
That's interesting.
What about you?
Oh yeah, I was gonna just be like, do you guys plan on getting a bike or something?
We do have a bike, but sometimes we prefer just to walk and enjoy the campus.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever been to UC Davis. Have you?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah.
Either.
I have a couple of friends who go there, but yeah, I didn't know that you have a lot of walking to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking. We do have a bike, but when we go to class, either we go really sweaty, especially for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
'cause
rather
you're biking.
do a little walking. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
For me personally, I like today's weather. I do not like it. I hate the hot weather. When I went outside, I was like, I literally went but I prefer cold days, windy days, not rainy days, just because I don't like getting wet, but just really cold days is what I prefer. So I'm not ready for the summer. How about you, Santi?
I really love spring because it's not super hot, not super cold. I don't like the summer as much. I don't like to be sweaty without me doing anything. Working out. Okay, I'm sweaty, but it's really nice though. I do enjoy every type. I think Marin, especially, I don't know UC Davis, but Marin gets everything. The rain, hot, spring, so it's really nice. The fall, it's beautiful. Well, thank you guys for sharing. And, in Tay Radio, our goal is to provide a space for youth, dreamers, entrepreneurs, and artists to be able to share their stories and experiences in order to empower others, right? That's our main goal. And when I bumped into you guys and I heard a little bit about your stories, I knew we had to have you on the show because there are others just like you who are going through similar or the same journey as you guys have. With that, I do want to start with getting a little bit to know more of your background. And I know you guys met, well, we haven't mentioned this, but you guys were not born here in the U.S. So with that, I want to start with, what is your favorite experience of living in your birth countries? Do you want to start, Jose?
Sure. So my favorite experience was spending time with my family, just being very family oriented, spend time with them. I started appreciating that even more when I got to this country, away from my family. I was like, wow, family is definitely one of my most important, the most important people in my life. So definitely being with them, even if we are just doing simple things, but I find those experiences very valuable.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, just like Jose, I grew up with my grandparents. So when I was there, I was, they were 10 minutes away from my house. So just being there for them and kind of going to their house was something that I really enjoyed. The other thing, I come from a very small town, Sija, from Shela. So the outdoors out there, man, when you're a kid, you can go everywhere. You can just play around. You got a river next to your house. So that was some of my favorite things back home. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing. And a little more talking about when you guys were in your home country. What were you guys doing there before you came to the U.S.?
Okay, so I was studying, but also I was helping my dad in the farm, working and um, trying to help him as much as I could because he motivates me a lot. He inspired me a lot to be a better person. But seeing him struggle, that was something that was encouraging for me to keep working hard. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Same thing. Go to school, help in the house with the chores, maybe feed the cows, the horses, and yeah. But most of it, go to school and help with chores around the house. Yeah.
And adding on to my question, I think we missed on a very important question. Where are you guys from?
I'm originally from Zacapa in Guatemala.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm from Xela, Quetzaltenango, and from Sija.
And that is in what country?
In Guatemala.
There you go. I'm like, our
Guatemala,
audience won't know where that is. I actually live a bit closer to Yelcin. I think we're neighborhood towns. I'm from Chivarreto, the mini Hollywood.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit of where you guys were from. Okay, so you guys went to school, helped with family, and all of that.
Right.
What did you know about the U.S. before arriving here?
So when I was there, I used to see the U.S. like the place where all dreams come true if you work really hard for it. So I would watch movies about people achieving the American dream, like for example, The Pursuit of Happiness by I think Will Smith. Is the
I love that movie.
I love that movie, and it was very inspiring to me. And I was like, wow, the U.S. really provides that environment for people to achieve their dreams. And that was my perspective from there.
Yeah, and we promised we didn't even share this, but I think it's the same thing, right? My parents were here before, and yeah, I mean, back then I would say my cousins as well, just coming here because they had their actual dreams, right, of getting a home, buying a car, making a little business. So their way for them was just to travel to the United States and kind of make that happen. So yeah, even though I was a kid when I came here, I had that mentality that the United States was a place where you could actually come and make your dreams actually come through. Yeah.
And do you guys feel that is true now that you are here?
I personally feel like it's true. Yeah. You have so many resources here that I wish we had in our home country, that if you actually look for them and you take advantage for them, yes, of course, if you have a dream, you can accomplish it here. Yeah.
I definitely agree with Yelcin. That is possible. The thing is, like, you gotta work extremely hard to make it happen, and make a lot of sacrifices. Sometimes, like that dream, there might not be like a warranty of that dream is gonna come true, but still, we need to keep pursuing it, believing ourselves or dreams, and support the people on the way.
Wow. So you guys had that before you guys came here. What led you guys to make that trip, and how did you guys come here?
Wow, that's okay. I'll try to be brief.
I'm pretty sure you guys have a very long story.
So when I was in Guatemala, I was dealing with a lot of mental health, let's say, issues. I was asking myself about what was my purpose in life. Even though I was at school, I was helping my dad. I didn't see myself like going places because there are not as many opportunities as in the United States. So I wanted to prove myself that I could become more, be more, because that for me that was a way to honor my parents. That was one reason. The second reason, my dad actually was here in the United States for many years. He worked as a janitor for probably over a decade or two. And I was thinking, wow, my dad struggled so many years chasing that dream. And for me, the best thing that I can do to honor him is do my best to try to achieve those dreams, the things that my dad couldn't achieve. And that would inspire me to come here to the U.S. A third reason, I have so many reasons. My aunt, she lives here.
Okay.
She doesn't have a husband or kids, and she was going through cancer during that time. So I wanted to come here and be of emotional support, financial support for her, and that drive me also to come here. I dropped out of school. I leave everything behind and decided to come to the U.S. and go from being a teenager to actually being a man that takes responsibility of his life and that wants to do everything right for my family because they deserve it.
Well, thank you for sharing and opening to us about that.
Well, in my case, it's a bit different. I came here when I was 13, so I didn't quite have an option, right? But I can see it. I'm a dad, so I can see it as a parent perspective, right? From my parents, they wanted what was best for me. So having them, being here, having them, actually being here, it was a lot easier for me to achieve any goals that I had in life, right? It could be any goals, and it was a lot easier as if we go back, we have so many resources here. So I believe that that's the main reason. Also, there's so many opportunities. My parents never had those opportunities. So seeing actually as a parent, seeing it that your kids actually have those opportunities, I would also do the same thing. Yeah.
So would you say you guys are glad that you guys came here?
Yes, I don't regret that decision. I think it was the best decision I have ever taken because I have developed, I have become a better human being by taking that decision, coming here and taking more responsibilities, to start working hard for my goals, setting all a plan. I think, I have grown as a human being in general.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that, I was brought here and I'm actually working on my goals. So yes, I'm very glad.
I think you and I have a similar story because I was 7 years old when I was brought here, and it wasn't by choice.
Right.
Yeah, and it wasn't by choice. It was my family wanting to be together, right? Because in most cases for immigrant kids who come here, a lot of them come here because they were separated, and so families go through a lot being away from, you grow up being raised by your grandparents or your aunts or uncles, and so having that bond as a family is super important in our culture, right? So being able to come here, it brings so much things, opportunities and all that. But thank you guys for sharing. I'm gonna hand it off to Kim.
I had a question. How old were you
when I got here?
Yeah.
I was 19 years old.
19, and you were 13.
Yeah, 13. Yes.
And since for you it's a little different, were you, the life that you have now, were you expecting this? Like, was this your plan to go to university?
That's a really good question. I consider myself a very high conscious person. What I mean by that is I analyze myself a lot, my actions, where I'm going to, where I'm heading in life. So when I got here, I was I don't know if you guys know, but I was washing dishes for a living, like many of immigrants do. But I would be it would be the middle of the night, all wet from head to toe after washing dishes and pushing a car full of cardboard. I would be daydreaming about and planning in my head, what I'm gonna do here. Okay, I gotta go to community college, take ESL classes to learn the language. That's gonna open more doors for me. I gotta develop other skills besides communication skills to be able to get a better job too. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to major in something at college, but that's something that eventually, after taking ESL classes, I was and with the guidance of my counselor in College of Marine, I was able to plan ahead and execute that plan.
Wow. That's nice. In my case, right, I came as an 8th grader. I went to middle school for 1 year. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do when I was 13, right? But I think it hit me when I was in high school, when I was a junior in high school. I knew I wanted to go to school. I knew I wanted to go to university and get a degree in something. I wasn't quite sure on what exactly I wanted, but I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity So yeah, I didn't know back then when I first came in.
And I would like to add something for the audience that sometimes we don't know what to do with our lives, where we are heading in life, and that's totally okay. In my perspective, what matters is to do what feels is right every single day of our lives. And then as you're going through life, you're gonna figure things out. You're gonna figure out which what you wanna do, what type of job, what's your purpose. Because I personally, I struggle with that. I didn't have purpose in life before. So for the audience that are going through that just doesn't know what to do with their life, my advice is just keep going forward, do what feels is right, be kind to others.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of high schoolers like tend to feel like, I know a lot of my friends are still in high school, and a lot of them are like they're applying to colleges and all that, and they don't know exactly what they want to major in, and they see other people like already majoring in other like majors, and they feel like self-doubt, like they're not going to go anywhere just because they don't have it figured out yet. But I also know a lot of people who had it figured out like a whole lot later, and a lot of people don't even go to college and they have their life like totally figured out.
Right.
So college isn't the only way if you don't know what you want to major in. Just know that.
Right.
As long as you're doing what you love, that's the only
Absolutely.
important thing.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of tie back that question that she asked, like, what were you expecting and what you actually lived? And I love how you compared it, that you saw opportunity and then you were washing dishes. I love that comparison. When I came to the US with the movies, you know, you see so many like buildings, the rich people. Oh my God, this. When I came here to the US in Canal, we were driving from LA, and my parents took me to this apartment building, and in my head that was our house. I was 7 years old, so I was like, "Oh my God, this is our house!" And we walk into an apartment, and my expectation versus the reality was very different, right? With that being said, can you tell us a little bit more of your experience with shifting country? So that could be the food, the language, the culture, the education, and even the work environment.
Okay, so let's see. I would say the dynamics here in the United States are more like high pace. It's a more high pace environment. You go from your job to a school. You're always like busy. In Guatemala, it's a little bit more peaceful, I would say, in that sense. In terms of food, well, I love food, so I love Guatemalan food. I really miss it, but I also like the food that they have over here. Over here, they have food from all over different countries, so that was a new experience for me. In terms of, well, the biggest change for me was the language. That was a huge challenge because I didn't speak any English at all, so it was kind of different for me. I didn't have friends neither, so I would feel like lonely but I knew that it was part of the process, and I always have the faith that I was gonna find good people along the way, like Yelcin, who's here, yeah, and you guys, yeah.
Yeah. For me, the transition was a bit shocking. The language itself was a big barrier for me. You go to school, everybody speaks English, and you're like, what's going on, right? Food wise, I would say, I mean, food was maybe different taste, right? Because the meat here and the meat over there is absolutely different. Like,
Very different.
We got flavor over there. And then in terms of friends as well, was very difficult. I mean, I left all my friends back home. I was sad for a good time. But then I make more friends. I mean, in middle school, I met one of my best friends. And then in community college, I met Jose, and yeah, have a lot of friends. On the way in high school, I made some good friends as well. So yeah, the transition was a bit hard at the beginning, but you know, it got better. Yeah.
During your time here, since I know like language was a barrier for most cases, what was the biggest setback or like challenge that you guys faced while in your early years of being here?
In terms of language or in general?
No, in general.
Ooh. Jeez, that's a tough question. I would say the language. Yeah. Well, I don't think anything else at the beginning, but then in high school I did have some struggles, but that was not at the beginning. Yeah.
What were those? It could be any time.
Okay,
period.
yeah. So in high school, my senior year, I think it was the toughest year I've experienced in my life. One of my really closest friends, he passed away. My senior year, that was really devastating for me emotionally. And then on my senior year, I did everything I could to apply for colleges. And then at the end, I got accepted to some colleges, but financially, they were not able to help me. So that was a big setback for me. That's why I left school for a while. I thought, I was like, man, this is not for me. I did everything I could, and it just didn't work out. So I would say that was the biggest challenge I've faced. Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, in terms of time frame, when you ask about challenges, are you talking about from the day we got here to this point, or
Any challenges?
any challenge?
Yeah.
I would say, well, there were many, but the biggest one for me was that in 2018, my dad got struck while he was there. And last year, my mom, she was going through health issues, like really bad. That was the most impactful for me. Why? Because I really care about them. Of course, they're my parents, right? But I'm very family oriented. The challenges that I face personally, I don't really care much about them because it's only affecting me, let's say. But when like if something is happening to my family, that's very give me a lot of like emotional, mental distress. So I would say that's one of the biggest ones. Seeing my parents going through stuff. You know?
Thank you guys for sharing that.
Yeah.
What and kind of tying it, we talked about your challenges coming here, and a lot of you guys mentioned, I think, and Kimberly was born here, but she was also a bilingual family, like Spanish and English, and the three of us, we had to learn English. In my case, I speak a native language from Guatemala, Quiche. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. That was my first language I grew up with, and then I had to learn Spanish here. So if you hear my Spanish, I don't have the Guatemalan accent that you talk with because I learned Spanish here. I learned Spanish and English at the same time. And with my family, my whole family was learning English. So language definitely was a big barrier. And once you learn English, it kind of opens up many opportunities. What opportunities did you guys see once arriving and experiencing what you guys have, the culture shock? What opportunities did you see?
Sure. Once I learned English, let's see, some opportunities. The first one was being able to take the regular GE classes for my major, as I was starting to think about majoring in computer science or something else. That was a huge opportunity, being able to attend college. A second opportunity was being able to transition from a job as a dishwasher to become a personal trainer, because all my life I've been very passionate about fitness and working out. So I was able to transition. Also, thanks to the opportunity of Jordan Assad is his name. He, even though I wasn't certified or anything, he was like, okay, come learn from us, and then you can get your certified and start training people. And that's how I started like a different job that I was very passionate about.
Yeah, so for me, I saw many opportunities. One of them is I did construction for a while and for like 4 years, and I had the opportunity to get my general contractor license.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, that was wow. My friend's dad, he offered me a letter of a recommendation because I worked for him for a while. But so I had that opportunity. I also saw opportunities of getting my electrician's license. And then I went to community college. I started taking classes, right? And then I met one of my mentors. His name is Nino. He is from Italy. He worked for NASA, and he kind of persuaded me, not really persuade, but he showed me how engineering is like really good, right? How it really impacts the world. And I knew since I was a kid, I kind of wanted to do something related to engineering. And I mean, that was the opportunity that I really got into.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have such interesting from like where you guys are now. I mean, yours has a bit of a more of a connection, but you went from dishwashing to studying what you're studying.
Yeah, it's just a lot of transitions because dishwashing to personal training to
Yeah, exactly.
now computer science
Yeah.
and engineering.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. Well, a general contractor, that's a lot of it's a lot of work to get there too. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's
gotta
a
take a
lot
lot
of
of
work.
tests too.
Right. Yeah. I think there's a good amount of books that you have to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My dad studied too to get his I think he's a general contractor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know his studying he
Right.
took a while. So I'm here surprised that you did that before. Awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love to hear both of you guys. They're so like different, your stories, and yet they're so like inspiring because you guys weren't born here yet you're doing so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And before we go into a little like break, I want to know if there's anything you guys like to share that has to do with anything you want to share to the audience, or just share.
I think more of like because we're transitioning to college about your story, the timeline before you decide to go to college, anything that you want to share with the audience.
Because then the next half we're going to transition to college life.
To college life.
Yeah.
Okay. So before college. So I was just attending community college, but like for ESL classes, not actually for majoring in anything. I started like from the lowest level. And I could be like, how many classes can I enroll in at the same time? I was trying to enroll to as many as I could to be able to learn English.
Okay.
That was my goal. And the whole experience used to get from learning English to actually take my first G class at College of Marine probably took me 3 or 4 years maybe around something
Okay.
something like that. What I wanna like tell the audience by that is that sometimes achieving goals takes time. So don't give up. Just keep chasing those dreams, even if people tell you that it's too difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just to make that point. I was out of school for 5 years, and when I went back, I didn't know anything. I mean, I couldn't even do the basics of math. So I mean, I'm serious, right? And you're doing engineering. What are you doing? You can't even do simple math, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, just to point out to the audience as well that if you have a goal, like Jose said, and just don't be scared, go for it. It's gonna take time, right? But at the end, it's gonna be worth it. Yeah.
Thank you. I love your stories. Like Kim said, they're very different, but it's part of our, the stories of a lot of immigrants that come here. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, we're gonna go on a short little break. We're gonna play Pa Delante by Ismael Lara, and then we'll be right back.
This society try to crush my spirit, but my chicano soul don't fold. I'm 100 with it. Mi gente dice al 100, puro pa' delante, pa' atrás a más, que se fue en vivo y atrás. Vamos, vamos, pa' delante. Vamos, vamos, pa' delante. Vamos, vamos, pa' delante. Vamos, vamos, yeah. So who's the victor? You Roman silver, the 30 coins of Judas. I'm Aztec gold, abundance of wealth that we've never told. I'm the mind alliance, youngest defiance, storm of stars and all the science. Duality of the serpent, don't misinterpret. I'm fine wisdom, age in the temple of the serpent. I'm the flaminess of chorus poems, wisdom that hits the soul. Nobility, we still approach these hard to fight every day. We born to prove victory, not to feign decay. I'm good at Pachá princess, Erendine on her horse, ready for war. We don't die, we regenerate. Victory, our fate. On a cool breeze, I move with ease. My intellect stays strapped. I embrace my heritage, the brown, white, and the black. I got my mind on my studies, and my studies on my mind, ready to hit back with facts. Blackjack. So what's the meaning? Historical victory from the beginning.
So good. I think you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so she's gonna start in 3 seconds. So.
Hi guys, welcome back. Before we dive right back in, there's a quick PSA. Listos, California, in the state of California's emergency preparedness campaign, Listo means ready in Spanish. You can find 5 easy steps to prepare for any natural disaster at their website. Text Listo, LISTOSCA to 7 2, 3, 4, 5 to receive any tips in English or Spanish on how to prepare for natural disasters. You will receive 1 tip per day at any time of your choice over the course of 1 week. And another thing that's coming up for youth, there's a town hall in arrangement happening in San Anselmo on April 23rd. It's based towards youth, so come on down. I'm not totally sure on how exactly it's gonna go by, but I'm definitely gonna be there. And yeah, it's for anyone who's ready to. Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, just also to mention that on Saturday it is Earth Day. And so there is an opportunity if you have any children. Muir Woods is offering a free event, and it's called Junior Ranger Day. So if you have siblings, you can take them. It's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's free admission. There's going to be art, and there can be information about Earth Day. And if you haven't visited Muir Woods, you definitely should go. It's a beautiful place, and you do have to reserve at times. So this is an awesome opportunity. Just go and have fun with the little ones. Also, the open mic night is on April 28th. Remember, it's doors open at 6 and it starts at 6:30 until 8. So if you're an artist, a singer, a dancer, an actor, a poet, and you want others to hear your art, please come on down at the MCM building. And yeah, we're excited to hear and see all of the new talent and current talent that are in Marin. Mm-hmm. Did I miss anything?
And I was just going to mention that we are located at 709 Fifth Avenue for people who don't know the location. And then now we're going to dive into our second topic, which is college life. And before we shift into this a little more, what are you guys both doing now? Are you guys working and studying?
Okay. So at this point, because given the nature of my major, it's very demanding, I decided to not work during this last 1 year of school. I just focus on school completely. Like, I wake up every day, go to the gym with Yelcin, then we literally go to classes or the library all day, basically, just to focus on classes. But to get to this point, like, we have to make a lot of sacrifices along the way. I don't want to like the audience to think, they're not doing much now, but we have to make sacrifices. We have to plan ahead to be able to get to this point, like working, doing community college, working a lot and saving money and applying to scholarships, because planning ahead is very important to make that happen.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. When I was in community college, I was working full time, but classes now in Davis are not easier. Upper division, they're a lot harder. So yeah, in my case, I just study full time. I got a loan on whatever money I needed, but yeah, just study full time. Like Jose said, you wake up, go to the gym, and go to the library. That's our home. That's our second home. Yeah.
I love that.
Well, we kind of tied into this, but what inspired for you guys to go to college? What made you make that decision, saying, I want to study?
Okay. So for me, there were different factors. Well, to go to college in general, or my specific major?
College
in general. Okay, because my dad, as I said before, he was here. He was a janitor most of his life in a hospital. I want to take the next step to honor my dad, the sacrifice of my dad. My aunt also is here. She didn't get an education, so I wanted to try to reach that next level, get an education, so I can also influence the communities, set the example for others. So my parents were a motivation to do that. My aunt, also my future kids, let's say. Do I want them to look at me like... I want them to look at me as a superhero, someone that went for what he wanted. So for me, I was like, okay, I want to get into into college and graduate hopefully, and we are making it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, many reasons, but some of them are one, I think, and which is the most important one, is my daughter. I want to give her what's best, right? And like Jose said, I want to show her that if you have a dream in life, you can accomplish it, regardless of the sacrifices they have to make. Secondly, for my parents, I know they did a lot just to bring us here. And if they would have gotten the same opportunity, they would have taken it as well. And the last reason, I did construction for a while. It was backbreaking, so I think I can do. Maybe I'm gonna be really stressed, but it's not gonna be as backbreaking as construction. Yeah. So.
And usually that's what a lot of our community, especially the Latino community, when they come here to the U.S., it's usually the very hard labor that they get themselves into, because that's usually the only option that you have. Before we talk about the careers that you guys took, like, how was the process of applying to college? Was it easy? How was the financial aid that you guys received? Because like Jose mentioned, that people may see, oh, they're in college, but there are some challenges, and a lot of it is financial aid, because college is it's not cheap. It's expensive.
So yeah, the way I did it, basically, I was taking ESL classes, but I came across Javier. Probably Javier Urena. He was my counselor at College of Marine.
I think I know him.
Yeah, I think our studio coordinator knows him.
Yeah, he invited me to his office just to talk about school and life, what I wanted to do, because he asked me. I didn't know how many opportunities were there, but he was like, "Oh, you can take this class, you can do this." So he kind of guide me through. So that's my advice for the youth that doesn't know how to get started on college: is go to talk to a counselor and see what opportunities are there. Also, so there is non-profit institution here in Marine. It's called 10,000 Degrees.
They were,
they were going to a school every Tuesday. We always change it, but I think it was every Tuesday and Thursday. I used to see them seated near the cafeteria, and one day I approached them just to ask questions about financial aid, and they kind of guide me through the process of applying to scholarships while being at school. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think my advice for the youth is ask questions, reach out for help, and you're gonna get the info that you need, because each person's circumstances are different. So you want to know what's best for you.
Agreed on that.
Yes, I totally agree with that. There are plenty of opportunities out there. You just gotta look for them. 10,000 Degrees is one of them. They will definitely guide you through to the right direction. I can speak for College of Marine, right? They have a lot of resources. If you're a first-generation student, they have resources for you. In terms of, they will help you fill out your financial aid. They will help you apply for schools. They have a lot of sessions when you're applying for UCs, right? You have a set of questions that you have to do. They will do workshops for that. I don't know. I don't remember the process for high school, though, but I know they do that earlier, too. They have sessions and help you out. But yes, like Jose mentioned, you kind of have to look for the resources. If you look for them, you will find them. Definitely. They're out there.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because if you are legally documented here, you have the FAFSA, right? And you can apply for that, and you get it depends on what school and the major you're choosing. They give you financial aid. It's a little bit different for immigrant students, which is why I was kind of asking, if you don't mind sharing, did you guys get FAFSA? If not, kind of like you mentioned it, 2 scholarships, what you guys got. I know there's the...
FAFSA is a little different. There's another. Have you heard
the DACA?
Yes. So I have DACA.
Oh, that's what I wanted to. That's where I was going for.
Of course. So I have DACA, and it's pretty much like FAFSA, but it's the school itself, the one that gives you the money. And California itself is the one that gives you the money that FAFSA would give you. But if you qualify for DACA, they will give you most of the money that you need. In my case, they're paying for all of the tuition, right? All of the tuition, and then I got to see what I do for rent. But it's
Okay.
but as long as like they pay for school, right? I think that's more than good enough. You can figure the rest out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there are also some private institutions and non-for-profit that provide scholarship no matter your status, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's tricky because as I'm a first gen and I did apply. I did go to college for like 2 years, and it was interesting when because I'm very blessed and I got my social and everything. So when we were doing some comparisons with my best friend, she didn't get a lot of money, and I got money, and so it was like, what do we do? But there are scholarships and different organizations, and a lot of the mindset of youth out there, because their parents don't know and families around them, it's like, I can't go because I can't pay for it, or I can't go because I don't have a social, I can't go. And so it goes to show that if you really have that drive, find opportunities, ask questions, because those you'll kind of find the puzzle pieces, and then it gives you an open door, and you have to do work on the side, whether it's paying rent, whether it's paying other things, but a little bit of help is help. Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and ask the...
I just wanted to mention that I don't think currently DACA is accepting any new...
Yeah.
That's
It's not.
big thing, because I remember at College of Marin, there was something going on. There was a little protest about like students that go to College of Marin who are undocumented. They don't have any financial aid, and they're not, like, they have to pay out of pocket to go to College of Marin, even though it's a community college, because they don't receive any, and they can't even apply for DACA because it's closed. I forget since when. But yeah, I feel really blessed that I'm able to have FAFSA and have that paid for. So
yeah, but like Jose said, one door closes and then you can look for other options.
Right.
And there is more of a benefit for those who are born here and are, have that legal status here. They can get to things a lot easier, and for immigrant students, they have to work harder. Right. That's the reality of it, but it's not impossible.
It's definitely not impossible. I'm an example of it, right? I went to community college for 2 years, and I think that's a really good way. I don't know if they're doing that in high school anymore, but when I was in high school, they made it seem like community college was not the best, right? It was not the best route for you to go. Having experienced community college myself, I think it's a really, really smart way. You save money. If you're in a case like me, right, you're a DACA student, College of Marin, they will pay for your classes as well. You will qualify for financial aid, but I wouldn't suggest to take advantage of it, because for DACA, I think they only give you 4 years. So what I did is, in community college, there is something called a BOGO. Is that what it is? BOGO, I think. There's this like a fee waiver that you get, and it'll pay for your classes.
Oh yeah, it's the Pell Grant.
Yeah, the Pell Grant. There you go. And then if you're a low income or first generation, you can also join... what's the name of the program that we joined where Javier is?
Oh, EOPS.
EOPS. They will also give you a small, like, little money for your books, right? So that's another way on how you can help yourself out.
Yeah.
And then take advantage of the financial aid if you're DACA or undocumented once you're in a 4-year university like Davis, because you might take an extra 2 quarters. Like for me, I think it's going to take me an extra quarter to finish school. So it's a good way, but don't let that put you down if you have a goal, right? Don't let that be a wall between your dreams. Anything can be possible. Like I said, if you look for tons of private associations out there, I'm sure there's plenty of them, especially here in California. They're very supportive with DACA students.
Yeah, we're in a very location that supports students.
Right.
I did want to touch back onto the College of Marin or community college, which tends to happen, like you said, in schools. They want to send you to the 4-year directly, but if you're not financially stable, and the smart decision is staying at a local community college. How long did you guys stay there? before going to the university that you guys are on?
Well, in my case, let's see. I just transferred from College of Marine. I was in College of Marine since 2016 to 2022, but that includes the ESL classes. So basically, six years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the ESL classes, you don't have to pay for them. At least the first ones, the first sequence. And the nice thing about community college is that you get good education. It's not as expensive as a 4-year university. Also, you get to connect better with your professors. I love all my professors. They have influenced my life in a positive way. So I highly recommend community college to get started. Yeah.
So I was there for 3 years in College of Marine. And man, College of Marine, it's amazing.
Yes.
The professors, they are great. All my math professors, all my physics professors, they are amazing people. Like Jose said, when you go to a 4-year, you don't really have that one-on-one with the professor as you would in a regular community college, because in the community college, at least in College of Marine, the classes, they're not really impacted. There's like what, our classes especially in our STEM majors, our circuits class was made out of 5
students.
Oh, wow.
Students, right? So you really have that one-on-one with the professor. You get to interact with the professor, and that really helps out. And if you check their backgrounds, I mean, they went to really good schools, so you're getting some really, really good quality education from professors in community colleges.
Definitely.
Yes.
I feel like there's a bad stigma on community colleges,
Right.
but I feel like it's dialed down a bit, because like now I see that a lot of people are like planning to go on to community college instead of universities, because they do see like you're saving a whole lot more money. You're like living closer to home, so you don't have to pay for like dorms or like rent or anything. So I personally really like College of Marin. I go to College of Marin, and I'm also a part of EOPS, and it's a great program. They have counseling separate from the College of Marin counseling, which also helps, and they give you free. All my school supplies I've gotten from them. So that's like made me spend like no money on any type of school supplies or like books or anything. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and just what led you guys to your career that you're currently studying?
No, that's a good question, because I chose computer science and engineering, even though I never in my life wrote a line of code. I probably did my first line of code when I was like 21, 22 years old.
Oh, wow.
So there were different factors. One I would say is that in the computer science field, only 6.9% only 6.9% of the people in the computer science field are Latinos. So I wanted to be part of the change. Second is that I was curious about how technology works. I didn't know much about technology. I just knew that I wanted to learn about it. I just made the decision, okay, the best path is the computer science and engineering path. And analyzing where we are heading in the world. So it seems like every year more technology is being used. So I wanted to be part of that, and make sure that I got a job in the future. That's true. And also something that influenced me is like the group of friends that we have, Jose and I. We were like 6, and I didn't decide my major right away, but they all were studying in the engineering or computer science field. So I wanted to learn those skills to be able to write code, to build stuff. So that inspired me to chase that degree.
Yeah, so in my case, since I was a kid, I was really curious with toys, electrical toys in specific. My parents, they would buy me toys, and I would just tear them down, right, and see what was inside. And then during the construction world, I did electricity for a while. That kind of also made me think how lights work and everything. And then my best friend, one of my best friends, it's also an electrical engineer. He's from Guate as well. And I asked him questions about the field, and he told me about it in the field, so it was really interesting. And I met Professor Nino, like I said. He also made me solidify my major. And what really, really made me solidify was I had an internship last summer in San Jose, and in the electrical engineering field. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is what I want to do. Yeah. And plus taking the classes right now that I have, it's for sure, it's a path that I want to go. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I know like engineering's like super hard, but it's like very rewarding at the end. So it must be really nice. Do you guys have like a plan on what you guys want to do like right after? I don't know if there's like, I don't know how it works with engineering, like the major, like if there's like internships that you guys go into or something like that.
You want to go? Yeah.
Sure. So let's see. I don't have a plan of what I'm gonna do right after I graduate. I'm thinking I'm gonna do software engineering, but I would like to learn more about AI, especially now that field is growing.
Wait, AI?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Snap has like AI. It's like kind of trippy.
So that's the goal, but I don't have everything figured out yet because I want to take more classes and see what's the specific area that I want to focus on. As I said earlier, it's okay if you don't have everything figured out, but I enjoy like struggling through a problem and then getting it done. That feels so good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so touching back to the engineering being hard. So it's a thing in the Latino community, right? It's hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
We need more Latinos in the engineering community, more female specifically in the engineering community. So it's hard, but it's not impossible. If we're making it happen, I'm quite sure that it's able to do it. Going back to what I want to do in engineering is I want to do radio frequencies, which is communication, which is what we're doing right now, right? Working with satellites, working with antennas.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of the internship that I did last summer, which is radio frequency, just testing out antennas. I'm going to take my next year, I will be definitely taking 3 classes that will determine if that's the field that I actually want to go. But I'm aiming more into radio frequencies. Yes.
What? Sorry, were you going to add something?
Oh, yeah. Coming back to what Yelcin was saying, that everyone can do it, I definitely agree on that. Because I consider myself a very average guy. So if we are making it happen, I truly believe anyone can happen. If we put the work, the discipline, the patience, if we don't let failure to drop us down, I think it's doable.
Right.
No, I love that. Because, like, from my perspective, I'm like, I did coding before. It's not easy. You mess up one little tiny thing, it messes the whole thing. And then engineering, I don't think I could put myself into that. But as an outsider, it can seem hard. But from both of your perspective, it's saying, yeah, you got to work, but it's possible.
Right.
And we're running out of time, and we have so much more questions for you guys. But I do want to just ask, what challenges have you faced studying your careers right now, and how did you guys overcome those?
Okay. This is one that I still face it from time to time, which is the imposter syndrome. Sometimes I feel like, what I'm doing here? I'm not as smart as these other students. But we got to understand that each person's path is different. Each person has his or her own history. So if we are there, it's for a reason. It's because we are capable. That's something that sometimes happened to me when I'm not solving a problem or something. It's just kind of like the mental battle against what I perceive. But yeah.
Yeah, in my case, it would also be the imposter syndrome, but also just learning the new concepts, right? They're a bit hard, but you have to work for it. Have to hit the books. Stay in the library. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel the same. I relate to what you said, like, oh, I'm not as smart as them. I feel like that in some of my classes. The more like sciencey classes, I'm like, I feel like I'm like doing bad in it, and then I'm like, oh, I feel so dumb. But then sometimes I hear like, oh, the class average is this, and I'm like, oh, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, and I bet if you were to go and ask everybody, right, I think they would be thinking the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
There's an exception of a few students, right, that absolutely they're smart, right?
Yeah.
But if you go to class and you ask every other student, I think they're in the same shoes as you are. They're as confused as you are. So just work hard, and you will go through it. You'll pass it. Yeah.
So we have like 4 or 5 minutes left. Is there any advice you guys would like to share that has to the youth that you guys have gone through? Any future advice?
Okay. So I have a lot of advice. First, plan ahead. Set your goals and break it down in monthly goals, weekly goals, goals that are completely dependable on you. What I mean by that is that, for example, instead of planning, let's say, I wanna, let's say, make $1 million in 2 years. That's not dependable of ourselves. We need to plan goals that are completely dependable. For example, I'm gonna save this amount of money this month. That's completely dependable. There are no external factors that affect your goal. So goals that you have control over. That's one thing. Another thing is reach out for help if you need to. Don't be afraid of asking questions. I think it's called being resourceful. So seek help if you need to. Look for a mentor. 13, do what feels is right every single day of your life, and you'll do use good. You don't have to have everything figured out. That's totally fine. Another thing, failure. We are gonna fail along the way of chasing our dreams. That's okay. If you fail, you just come back up and keep working hard. Another thing, I'm sorry, I
Another thing.
surround yourself of people that believe in you. You don't want people that tell you that you cannot do stuff. You want people that motivate you, inspire you. Those are the types of friends that you need to have, and never ever quit. Keep moving forward.
Yeah, so I guess touching on what Jose said, another advice I can give the youth is, if you're in high school, you don't necessarily have to go to 4-year. If you don't know what you want, right, there's always the path of community college, like we said. Even if you're in community college your first year and you don't know what you want to do, you can take 3 years, you can take 4 years and start exploring what parts of the field you like. You might like psychology, you might like business, you might like the STEM field. So do not be scared if you don't know what you want in life. There's the community college. Sometimes you don't even need to go to school to be successful in life. Sometimes there's other ways. Just look for help and you will find it. Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's a pleasure having you. I learned so much from both of you, and I agree with everything you guys both said. I know Jose is very, everything he said, I've been learning from him for the past few weeks, and it's been amazing. Sometimes when I go through the hard times of your mind playing games with you, I like to listen to music or anything really quickly in less than a minute. What is a book or a movie or something that inspired you?
Okay, yes. In terms of movies, as I said earlier,
Happiness.
that's right, The Pursuit of Happiness, with Will Smith. In terms of book, the first one is called Choose Your Destiny, who my actual mentor wrote. I met him 6 years ago. I highly recommend it. It teaches you how to plan basically every area of your life in a way that is measurable. He worked for NASA, so he's very knowledgeable. I recommend his book. Another book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson. Men in Search of Meaning, I think it's called, by Viktor E. Frank. And those 4 books. I don't want to give you too many. Those you're going to do use fine if you read those 4.
In my case, a movie that really inspired me, it's called Spare Parts. It's about a group of Latinos who do engineering. You guys should watch it. It's a really inspiring movie. Books, I'm not a big reader, so I don't really read books. Yeah, I'm more of a movie guy. Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you so much, and we're out of time. Yeah. Thank you both for taking the time to be here. We loved having you both, and we hope to have you guys back again. And we're sending you all the best energy to finishing off your careers. And with that being said, we'll see you guys all next week. We'll have Javier and Annalie on the show. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.